Hey everyone, tonight we're going to step into a world woven from silk and sand, spice and starlight. Seriously, picture a place where the gentle jingle of camel bells sounds like a lullaby, and the very wind whispers tales older than anything you've ever heard. Forget your phone for a bit. Tonight you're not just watching a video, you're wandering right into history itself. We're talking about venturing barefoot into the desert, maybe a little underdressed for the vast Gobi, and let's be honest, without some sturdy sandals, you probably wouldn't make it past noon out there. This isn't just a casual scroll, it's an invitation to immerse yourself. How often do we truly get to disconnect and transport ourselves to another time, another place, just by listening and letting our imaginations soar? Before you get totally comfortable and let your mind drift, I have a quick request. If you genuinely enjoy what I do here, if these stories resonate with you on a deeper level, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow and lets me know that these late-night adventures are reaching the right ears, inspiring new journeys. And while you're at it, drop a comment below and tell me where you're listening from. What time is it on your end? I'm always so curious who's unwinding in Paris, who's just waking up on the West Coast, and who's perhaps nodding off over in Manila. It's truly amazing to think about our global community connecting through these shared ancient stories. Now, let's set the perfect scene. Go ahead and dim the lights a little, creating that soft, inviting glow. Maybe turn on a quiet fan for that gentle, almost meditative hum in the background. Or even light a subtle candle to let its flickering flame add to the ambiance. The goal here is to create an atmosphere that truly allows you to disconnect from the everyday hustle and bustle of modern life. Take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and let any lingering thoughts about your to-do list or tomorrow's worries just float away. This is your time to simply be present, to listen, and to imagine. Are you ready to embark on this journey with me, with no distractions? You find yourself standing on the outskirts of Chang'an, a bustling ancient city that feels alive even in memory. Here, the road doesn't merely begin, it breathes to life, stretching out before you. Behind you, the city is still humming with the faint sounds of palace gossip and the lively songs from the marketplace. But ahead? Ahead lies nothing but the vast expanse of wind and the gentle curve of the earth, inviting you forward. There's a symphony of smells in the air. The earthy scent of dust, the delicate fragrance of plum blossoms, and the faint, savory aroma of roasted lamb. But there's something else too. The exotic, unknown scent of spices you can't quite name, like fragmented words from a half-remembered dream. It's an undeniable invitation to the unknown, a promise of discoveries yet to be made just beyond the horizon. Your feet press down onto the packed earth, feeling the same worn path that thousands upon thousands have traversed before you. Imagine the incredibly diverse souls who've walked this very way, diligent merchants with their precious cargo, devout monks seeking enlightenment, swift-footed messengers carrying vital news across vast distances, and even the occasional runaway poet seeking both inspiration and escape. This isn't a path carved by conquest or the grand ambitions of empires. No, this is the Silk Road, a conduit for culture, ideas, and deep human connection stretching across continents. And tonight, this legendary path, with all its history, mystery, and untold stories, is truly yours alone. What profound tales do you think these ancient footsteps could whisper if only they could speak? Suddenly, a camel grunts right beside you. Did you think this journey was going to be all glamorous silks and exotic perfumes? Well, think again. This magnificent beast's breath smells suspiciously like old socks and fermented apricots, and it definitely has some strong opinions about your walking pace. But then, your guide, a wiry man with a half-beard and a full knowing grin, gives you a quick, reassuring wink. He doesn't say anything, because on this ancient road, silence often speaks far louder than any idle chatter. It's a profound lesson in patience, in quiet observation, and in understanding the subtle cues that the world offers. What subtle truths are we missing in our own fast-paced lives, because we're constantly filling the air with unnecessary noise? As the sun dips lower, it paints the horizon in incredible lazy golds, oranges and purples, a masterpiece unfolding before your eyes. A cluster of date palms gathers together in the distance, almost like a group of gossiping elders leaning in to share their ancient secrets. You pause for a moment, simply taking it all in. A soft breeze gently lifts the edge of your scarf, a silent caress. And somewhere in that fleeting moment, the entire world seems to shift. The distant hum of the city behind you completely fades away, replaced by the soft, rhythmic shuffling of hooves against the sand, the gentle rustle of silk brushing against saddlebags, and a profound realization. This path doesn't just stretch across vast deserts, it truly winds its way through time itself. It's a living connection to the past, vibrant and palpable. Here's a little secret about the Silk Road that many don't realize. It's not actually one single, continuous road, like a modern interstate highway. Think of it more like a massive, intricate spiderweb spun by a very ambitious and deeply sleep-deprived spider, with countless intersecting threads. Traders frequently veered off course, got tangled in winding side routes, or simply forgot where they were going entirely. Even historians today still debate what technically counts as the real Silk Road, arguing over its precise boundaries. But out here, under the vast open sky, precise definitions feel like extra baggage. Heavy, cumbersome, and utterly unnecessary. It reminds you that sometimes letting go of rigid definitions allows for far greater exploration and discovery. What definitions in your own life might be holding you back from a grander adventure? You wake to the gentle hiss of sand sliding down canvas, a truly unique natural alarm, and the invigorating scent of cardamom swirling from a kettle, still steaming beside the glowing embers of last night's fire. The desert night recedes, like a calm, slow tide, revealing the new day. You rise with a deep stretch that pulls at your shoulders, releasing the stiffness from a night spent under the vast open sky. One of the camels lets out a surprisingly loud sneeze, startling a flock of birds into a chittering, frantic flight, and you hear someone nearby chuckle, probably at you, not the camel. You've definitely got that classic bedhead look, sand between your teeth, and one foot is half stuck in a boot you honestly don't remember removing. It's an authentic, raw awakening, far removed from the alarms and routines of modern life. The sun is still just a rumor on the far edge of the world, a faint promise of dawn, but already the entire caravan is stirring with a quiet, efficient energy. Long, lean shadows stretch across the dunes, almost as if reluctant to completely let go of the comforting embrace of the cool night. The guide, with his usual economy of motion, gestures with a quick flick of his wrist. No words needed, his meaning perfectly clear. You efficiently pack what little you have, surprisingly adept now at rolling your blanket and securing your small bag. Then you mount your reluctantly obedient camel, feeling its familiar, rhythmic sway beneath you, and begin the day's journey once more. There's a certain peace in this repetition, a rhythmic cadence that marks your steady progress across the ancient land. You follow the same ancient trail, yet something profound feels undeniably different today. It's not in the landscape itself, which remains a vast, beautiful symphony of beige, tan, and the occasional hopeful glimpse of green life stubbornly clinging to existence against all odds. No, the change is entirely within you. The inherent rhythm of this journey has begun to subtly write itself into your very bones, becoming a natural part of your being. You now sway effortlessly with the camel's gait, almost as one. You squint against the bright desert light without wincing, your eyes having become accustomed to the glare. Most remarkably, you've stopped constantly checking how far you've come, or obsessing over how much further you have left to go. You are simply present in the movement, embracing the journey itself. Ahead, shimmering faintly on the horizon, lies Dunhuang, a legendary oasis where the relentless desert seems to pause and finally breathe, offering a profound sense of respite and wonder. It's a place where, for centuries, devout monks have painstakingly carved their deepest dreams and spiritual aspirations directly into the solid stone cliffs. You reach it by late afternoon, the air still shimmering with the lingering heat of the day, but now also with the profound promise of shelter and revelation. The famous Mogao caves wait patiently within the towering cliffs, appearing almost like the ancient gaping mouths of forgotten gods, ready to reveal their timeless secrets. You dismount slowly, your knees a bit wobbly from the long ride, and your very soul feels quietly hushed, as if even your thoughts instinctively know to whisper in this sacred place. There's an undeniable stillness to these caves that seems to hush the entire world around you. You step inside the first chamber, and immediately, any lingering hunger or thirst vanishes from your mind, replaced by an overwhelming sense of awe. The walls burst forth with vibrant color, faded by the passage of centuries, yet still incredibly defiant in their enduring beauty. Rows upon rows of serene Buddhas are depicted in rich ochre and deep lapis lazuli, their faces tranquil, their eyes half lowered, as if they too are on the brink of profound contemplation or sleep. Overhead, the ceilings ripple with exquisite, painted clouds and graceful dancing apsaras, their ethereal limbs curving like silk, caught in a gentle, eternal wind. It's an overwhelming visual feast, a powerful testament to enduring faith and artistry that transports you. You find your hand reaching out, almost instinctively, drawn to touch the ancient pigments. But you stop yourself just in time, recognizing the sanctity of the space. These are not merely murals. They are living memories, painted prayers, silent vows, and timeless stories painstakingly left behind by countless pilgrims who passed through these very chambers centuries before you were even a thought in the world's mind. They hold whispers of devotion, of hopes and fears, of spiritual journeys undertaken long ago. A monk, draped in deep maroon robes and enveloped in an aura of gentle silence, approaches and offers you a simple bowl of cool barley broth. You nod your thanks, deeply grateful for his silent generosity. He says softly, "The caves remember." That's all. As if that single phrase explains everything. And perhaps, in this profound, echoing place, it truly does. Did you know that some of these incredible murals bear the distinct brushstrokes of travelers from as far away as Persia? And astonishingly, some even depict ancient Indian legends that haven't been widely told in generations, miraculously preserved here in stone for us to rediscover. Scholars endlessly debate who influenced what artistic style. Did the vibrant Indian aesthetic arrive first, or does the Central Asian touch truly dominate the compositions? One historian even controversially claimed a Greek painter once passed through these very caves, though many others scoff at the notion, finding it improbable. But here, in the quiet, cool darkness of these hallowed chambers, such academic debates feel utterly insignificant, like inconsequential sandstorms stirring in tiny teacups. The power of the art transcends the squabbles of analytical study. You find yourself sitting cross-legged on the cool stone floor, your eyes tracing a faint, elegant lotus motif that seems to glow with an inner light in the dimness. The cool, ancient air within the cave smells faintly of age and exotic saffron, a fragrance that has clung to these walls for centuries, a subtle olfactory link to the past. The monk hums softly, a low, resonant sound, and the echo of his melody carries upward, rising like gentle smoke towards the painted heavens, filling the space with a quiet reverence. Outside, you can hear the wind begin to pick up, a distant, growing whisper calling you back to the journey. You emerge from the cave, blinking slowly, as if waking from a dream within a dream, a profound experience now etched into your memory. Morning arrives with a profound hush, not a jarring roar, in this ancient land. It seeps into the camp like soft, spreading smoke, dappling the tents in pale gold, and catching the gentle flutter of prayer flags that some optimistic traveler has tied to a crooked post, swaying gently in the dawn breeze. You find yourself rising slower today, your body moving with a newfound deliberate grace. Your limbs ache like old wood, but it's a peculiar kind ache, one that feels earned and almost welcome, a testament to the miles traversed. Your breath fogs slightly in the cooler dawn air, and your fingers linger longer around your warm cup of salted tea, savoring its unique taste. You're not quite fully awake, but certainly not dreaming either. You exist in a beautiful liminal space in between, embracing the raw simplicity of desert life. The caravan slowly stirs around you, resembling a giant breathing animal made of smaller individual creatures. You hear soft snorts from the camels, the shuffle of bedrolls being packed, low groans of sleepy travelers, and bursts of quiet laughter. Somewhere in the distance, someone is loudly but good-naturedly arguing with a stubborn goat, their voices carrying on the still air. Someone else, predictably, has lost a sandal. Again, you don't offer help. You've learned that out here, things have a remarkable way of resolving themselves in their own strange, unhurried rhythm. This journey is teaching you patience, observation, and the subtle art of letting go, trusting that the universe, or at least the caravan, will sort things out without your intervention. Today you leave the vast desert behind, at least for a time. The immense Taklamakan stretches far behind you like a long, drawn-out sigh finally released, its challenging beauty receding into memory. But ahead lies the legendary kingdom of Khotan, nestled gracefully where the endless sands meet the gentle foothills of towering mountains, a verdant place that feels almost too lush to be real, like an imagined oasis blooming in the barren landscape. The wind subtly changes as you begin your descent into the valley, carrying new scents. It smells distinctively of ripe mulberries and the crisp, clean promise of melting snow, and your camel, sensing the change in terrain and aroma, almost speeds up. Almost. It's a sensory shift that marks a new chapter in your journey, a transition from stark beauty to fertile, vibrant life. The city of Khotan is a vibrant blur at first glance. Low buildings with freshly whitewashed walls, their surfaces gleaming in the morning sun, and smooth domes that catch the light like slow blinking, ancient eyes observing your arrival. Markets bloom like colorful fungi along the narrow, winding streets, teeming with life and commerce, each stall a microcosm of stories and trade. Rich, intricately woven fabrics wave playfully from balconies, their colors dancing in the breeze, a visual symphony. And everywhere you turn, there's the soothing, omnipresent sound of flowing water, trickling from hidden springs, gurgling through channels, pouring from decorative spouts shaped like mythical dragons and fish, a symphony of life in the desert's embrace, vital and abundant. You pass a young boy with bright, intelligent eyes, selling gleaming jade beads from a tiny wooden tray balanced carefully in his hands, his smile brighter than any of his merchandise. A woman nearby hawks sweet pomegranate wine, her voice rich as she sings something melancholic yet beautiful about love, regret, and the strange solace of forgetting, her song echoing the ancient laments. A pair of old men, their faces etched with character and wisdom, play an intense game of chess on an overturned crate, arguing good-naturedly over a move made 3 turns ago, their camaraderie palpable. You could easily get lost here, you think. Truly lost in the vibrant tapestry of human connection, and for a fleeting moment, you consider doing so, on purpose, just to soak in the sheer abundance of life. But your guide, with an uncanny sense of timing, gently pulls you away from the captivating chaos of the market, steering you toward a shaded grove where tall poplar trees sway like old storytellers, their leaves rustling with whispered secrets from centuries past. There's something specific he wants you to see. Something he deems important enough to draw you from the city's allure, hinting at a deeper significance. You follow, your curiosity now fully engaged, trusting his seasoned judgment. The air here is cooler, imbued with a different kind of magic, a sense of purposeful creation. You wonder what hidden gem, what piece of ancient wisdom or artistry he's about to reveal, understanding that the Silk Road is as much about these unexpected detours as it is about the ultimate destination. You arrive at a workshop, not grand or imposing, not even clearly marked, just an unassuming space filled with the rhythmic clatter of looms, large vats, and the sweet, sharp scent of boiling water mingled with something earthy and almost alive, a distinct aroma of creation. You step closer, your curiosity now fully engaged, drawn by the subtle hum of industry. And there, in a shallow bowl, you see them, silkworms. They look deceptively simple, like tiny wriggling fingers made of rice dough, moving with a singular quiet purpose. You lean closer, fascinated, and someone hands you a cocoon, still warm from the sun, impossibly delicate in your palm, yet holding within it a single, continuous thread that could stretch almost a mile if unwound. The woman beside the loom speaks softly, her voice carrying the wisdom of generations of artisans, and the guide translates her words with a reverence that hints at their profound depth. Each cocoon, one long strand. We boil them not to kill, but to reveal, to soften what's hidden deep within. The worm dies, yes, but through that process, the silk is truly born. You nod slowly, a little uncomfortable with the stark reality, but also strangely reverent of the transformation and the cycle of life and creation. Silk was once worth its weight in gold, the guide adds, his voice low, imbued with history. Emperors wept for it, generals bled for it, and yet it all begins with this: tiny mouths chewing mulberry leaves. You touch the edge of a woven scarf, watching it shimmer like a profound secret, and somewhere deep inside you, you begin to understand why this fragile thread became the very fabric that tied empires together across continents. The land beneath you begins its insistent rise, not suddenly, like a steep staircase or the edge of a sheer cliff, but gently, gradually, as though the very earth itself is nudging you upward, breath by breath, with quiet determination. You feel it first in your calves, a subtle strain, then in your lungs as they work harder to draw in air. The atmosphere changes noticeably up here. It smells thinner, cleaner, crisp, but it also has a quiet cunning, stealing your breath with each ascent. By midday, you've already found yourself pausing 5 times, cleverly pretending to tie a loose sandal, or meticulously checking the camel's harness, or simply pausing to appreciate the view. But truthfully, you're just catching your breath, trying desperately to remember why you ever thought mountains were a romantic idea. These are the Pamirs, they call them, the legendary roof of the world. It's a place where the sky leans closer to the earth, where the stars descend to listen to the whispers carried on the wind. Out here, amidst these towering peaks, it's truly difficult to tell where heaven ends and the earthly realm begins. The two seem to blend seamlessly. The very rocks themselves, ancient and weathered, seem to be dreaming, holding millennia of silent stories within their stony hearts. There's a profound sense of timelessness here, a feeling that you're treading on ground that has witnessed countless epochs, an enduring silence that speaks volumes to the observant traveler. You cross treacherous passes where stubborn snow still clings to shadowed hollows, even in the unexpected heat of summer, a stark contrast against the barren rock. The wind up here doesn't howl with a fierce, lonely cry like in the desert. Instead, it whispers, a soft, ethereal murmur that carries ancient secrets. And oddly, it doesn't feel lonely at all. It feels watched, as though the colossal mountains remember every single footfall that has ever pressed upon their trails, every lost traveler who sought refuge, every heartfelt love letter carried across their formidable slopes in a woolen pouch pressed against a beating heart. You become acutely aware that you are just one more fleeting story in their enduring memory. You realize you're no longer merely walking through a vast landscape, you are profoundly walking through memory itself. Every bend in the winding trail holds a faint trace of someone else's breath, the echo of someone else's silent prayer, left behind like an invisible offering. You find yourself speaking less, your voice instinctively hushed, as if words might somehow offend the ancient cliffs or inadvertently wake old slumbering ghosts from their eternal rest. It's a profound shift in perspective, a recognition of the sacredness of this journey and the countless lives that have traversed these very paths before you. Your guide is strikingly different now. The previous one, with his familiar desert wisdom, handed you off to a true Highlander. This new guide has bright, piercing eyes that seem to hold the wisdom of the mountains, and a voice that sounds like gravel dipped in honey, rough yet sweet. He doesn't say much, communicating more through gestures and presence, but you immediately get the sense that he knows where every hidden spring, every forgotten shrine, and every safe passage lies. He whistles for the sheep to move from your path with an effortless grace, as if he's a magician conjuring them with a mere breath. You find you'd follow him into even the fiercest storm without a single question, trusting his inherent connection to this formidable land. One crisp evening, as you carefully set up camp near a rushing glacial stream, its icy waters murmuring secrets over the stones, your new guide tells you about a town up ahead, Tashkurgan. Old fortress, he mutters, stirring something fragrant in a dented pot over the crackling fire. Used to be taller than the sky, they say. Now, only shadows remain. The name Tashkurgan rolls through your mouth like a smooth, ancient stone conjuring vivid images, towering battlements, the dust of ages, majestic arches, and a profound silence. But when you finally arrive, the silence isn't dead or desolate. It's a deep, reverent quiet, a testament to its enduring history. The fort itself still stands, at least in part, its weathered bones stubbornly defiant against the relentless winds that have tried for centuries to erase it from existence. Inside its formidable walls, the very air echoes, not with sound, but with an overwhelming presence. You feel it distinctly as you walk through its crumbling passages. It's like stepping directly into the ancient silent ribs of a long-sleeping beast, sensing the immense history it has witnessed. This place, you realize, doesn't just hold memories. It remembers, deeply and profoundly, every pivotal moment and every human story that has unfolded within its enduring embrace. Once, this very spot was a vibrant nexus of empires, a grand intersection of cultures and power. Here, the sophisticated elegance of Persian diplomats met the stoic might of Han Chinese officials. The philosophical wisdom of the Greeks mingled with the spiritual depth of the Kushan Empire. Roman coins, symbols of a distant empire, mixed freely with precious Chinese scrolls, often concealed in hidden pouches sewn ingeniously into camel saddles for safekeeping. Diplomats rested here, spies listened intently behind intricately woven silk screens. Traders meticulously counted their gold, while monks murmured sacred mantras in forgotten languages, their voices carried on the mountain wind. The road now unspools before you like a thread from a giant spindle, looping gracefully through vast grasslands that ripple in the sun, stretching as far as the eye can see. You have finally descended from the imposing mountains, and now the world feels wide open again, expansive and humming with a vibrant new energy. The tall grass moves like a verdant sea, swaying in unseen currents, and sometimes, if you close your eyes and let your imagination take hold, you can almost believe you are sailing across its green waves. The wind here doesn't just blow, it sighs. It murmurs ancient secrets, and it plays gently with your sleeves, as though trying to tug you onward. Faster, deeper into the unfolding unknown that lies ahead. It's a liberation after the confines of the peaks. You ride beside the caravan today, a welcome change from walking. Your legs are immensely thankful for the reprieve, though your backside might be slightly less so, adjusting to the unique gait of a camel. No one ever tells you that riding a camel isn't glamorous. It's a bumpy, itchy experience, often feeling more akin to being juggled inside a slowly moving wardrobe than any poetic vision of romantic desert travel. And yet, there's something oddly dignified about it, a sense of being carried by a living monument, a creature that embodies the spirit of this land. Camels aren't like horses. They don't seek your approval or wait for your praise. They simply go, as they have for centuries, with their arrogant chewing and that smug side-eye that seems to say, "You couldn't survive a week out here without me." As the endless grasslands stretch around you, your guide begins to share captivating stories of the nomads who have called this land home for millennia, the resourceful Sogdians, the fierce Scythians, and the powerful Turks. Some have moved on, their trails lost to time, while others still remain, their traditions echoing through the generations. They call this rich region Fergana, known as the Valley of Legendary Horses and Relentless Wind. Fergana horses, your guide declares, his voice filled with reverence, sweat blood and run like gods. You can't help but raise an eyebrow in genuine surprise. "Blood?" you ask. He nods solemnly. The Chinese emperors fought entire wars just to acquire a single one of these magnificent beasts. And indeed they did. Entire military campaigns were launched, vast armies mobilized. all for the sake of these remarkable horses. They were famously called heavenly horses, believed by many to be descended directly from mythical dragons, or at the very least, kissed by them, imbued with their power. More durable and powerful than any other breed known at the time, they could gallop across vast plains for days without faltering, an endurance that seemed supernatural. That's what the legends say anyway. Of course, historians still debate whether these horses truly bled through their skin, or if it was merely a blood parasite that created that startling visual effect. But honestly, who are we to ruin the profound poetry and ancient mystique of such a captivating tale? You pass numerous herders moving their vast flocks, shaggy sheep, compact cows, and sturdy horses, guided by men wearing distinctive hats shaped like upside-down bowls, perfectly suited for this windswept land. You offer a simple wave, and they wave back in kind. No words are exchanged, just the universal acknowledgement of dust-covered strangers crossing the same piece of sky, sharing this ancient path. They invite you for a taste of mare's milk, a traditional refreshment, and you accept with sincere gratitude. It's fizzy, a little sour, and somehow makes your teeth feel oddly cold. You bravely pretend to like it, and they, with a knowing glint in their eyes, pretend to believe you. Everyone's happy in this silent, shared understanding. In the evenings, when the fire is lit and its flames dance against the vast canvas of the sky, and the stars sprawl across the heavens like spilled salt, the captivating stories return. Tonight, the tale is about a diligent merchant who, against all odds, fell deeply in love with a humble shepherd girl. He promised to return to her with silks the color of the sunset and earrings made of emeralds the size of walnuts, grand tokens of his affection. She waited patiently, her hope unwavering. He never returned himself, but the earrings did, wrapped in a parcel left mysteriously at the base of her family's yurt. No name, no message. Just a profound promise quietly kept, a testament to an enduring love, or perhaps a lingering regret. Some say he died tragically in a sudden sandstorm, his journey cut short. Others whisper that he became a wealthy prince in a far-off kingdom and sent the magnificent gift from a deep sense of guilt, remembering his vow. Still others, with a cynical glint, claim the girl herself, now old and sharp-tongued, made up the entire romantic tale to keep younger suitors guessing and intrigued by her mystique. All stories are true, your guide reminds you, his voice soft but firm, a timeless truth, depending on who's listening and what they choose to believe. That night, you lie under a blanket woven from rugged wool and the faint scent of wood smoke and time itself. You count the countless stars until your breath slows to a steady rhythm, and then you don't count anything at all, simply existing in the vastness. The Silk Road isn't simply a straight line stretching from east to west. It's a complex, intricate web, with countless threads spun in every conceivable direction, connecting myriad points across the globe. Some threads go north toward the vast, windswept steppes. Some dip south into incredible oases that bloom vibrantly in impossible, arid places. You're ostensibly headed west now, following the main artery. But you know that could subtly change by morning. Routes shift constantly, like rivers after a torrential flood. A sudden sandstorm might completely wipe out one established path. A new bandit clan might claim another. A vital new well might be discovered, transforming the landscape of travel. And suddenly, the entire map redraws itself, dynamic and ever-changing. Morning in Samarkand unfolds slowly, exquisitely, like a precious bolt of silk unwinding from a master weaver's loom. Quiet, deliberate, and suffused with a soft, ethereal golden light that bathes the ancient city in a timeless glow. You wake before the sun finishes its own majestic stretching, its first rays just beginning to paint the sky, and the cool morning air still carries the lingering, comforting weight of 1,000 dreams, both ancient and newly dreamt. Somewhere, nearby, a rooster, perhaps a bit overzealous in its duties, valiantly tries to sound important, attempting to herald the dawn with undisputed authority and a booming declaration. It utterly fails, its crow a comical squawk, a burst of charming imperfection. But you can't help but smile anyway. finding genuine joy in the small, beautifully human moments that punctuate this grand, sprawling journey, a gentle and promising start to another day of unparalleled discovery. You begin to gather your few precious things, though something deep inside you subtly resists the urge to move. There's a gentle tug, persistent yet almost imperceptible, a quiet plea to simply stay here, to linger a little longer in the intoxicating, magical embrace of Samarkand, to absorb every last detail. The very thought of moving on feels like having to abandon a truly captivating book before you've had the chance to finish the final climactic chapter. Even though you instinctively know, with a traveler's deep understanding, that the road itself is the ultimate storyteller, always, writing its own unpredictable, fascinating endings for those who dare to travel it. But the undeniable call of the journey, its unseen threads of destiny, is stronger than any lingering desire to stay, and so you go, compelled forward by an invisible force. The caravan is already stirring around you, a bustling symphony of sound signaling the imminent departure. The camels grunt their familiar low complaints, their own unique way of expressing their disdain for early mornings and the arduous day ahead. Someone, inevitably, is shouting loudly about a mysteriously missing boot, creating a ripple of minor, good-natured chaos that is quickly resolved. You find your designated place, settling in patiently and comfortably between a seasoned merchant who smells distinctly of rich, exotic cinnamon and a spirited young boy earnestly trying to juggle 3 bright red apples. His movements clumsy, but endearingly determined. The boy, with an inevitable mishap, drops one, and it rolls directly into your lap with a soft thump. You toss it back to him with a practiced, easy flick of the wrist, a small gesture of camaraderie. He misses again, prompting the cinnamon merchant to let out a booming, hearty laugh, the kind of infectious laughter that lingers warmly in the air, comforting and utterly human. As the magnificent city of Samarkand slowly recedes behind you, its shimmering blue domes and towering minarets gradually shrinking into the distance, a profound hush settles over the caravan. It's not a true silence. No, the Silk Road is never truly silent, always alive with a myriad of subtle underlying sounds, but rather a quiet, palpable shift in the very atmosphere, a transition. The road ahead curves gently, beckoning you forward, and the horizon blurs into an indistinct, hazy line, hinting at endless possibilities. A kind of deep, expectant stillness takes hold, much like the quiet, anticipatory pause just before the very first snowflake begins its delicate descent. You're moving now into a different rhythm, one that subtly echoes the vast, open plains you are about to enter, a seamless transition from the vibrant, bustling energy of the city to the expansive, almost spiritual solitude of the open land. You're moving now into a different rhythm, one that perfectly matches the subtly changing landscape around you, a dance between traveler and environment. The world around you begins to flatten out again, stretching endlessly under the vast, boundless sky. But the people you encounter begin to subtly change in appearance and demeanor. Their clothes, often more flowing and brightly colored, adorned with unique, intricate patterns, their distinct patterns of speech, even the very way they carry themselves as they walk, all are slightly unfamiliar, hinting at the new cultures you are approaching. You realize you're drawing closer to Persia, or at least the outermost influential threads of its ancient, sprawling reach, sensing its profound historical influence on the world around you. There's a legendary town ahead, a name that echoes grandly through history. Merv. You've heard of it, a place once famously called the Mother of the World, said to be the largest city on Earth for a time, a true wonder of its ancient age, a testament to human ingenuity. Merv. A place where profound poets once walked barefoot through verdant, fragrant gardens, composing timeless verses under the benevolent warm sun, and brilliant astronomers meticulously charted the night sky with sophisticated, intricate tools carved from gleaming brass and fervent prayer, seeking to unlock the cosmos' deepest secrets and understand their place in the universe. But first, you must endure the desert once more, a final test of endurance. The road ahead narrows dramatically between immense, imposing dunes, like a winding passage carved by time itself, and the omnipresent wind grows restless, swirling the fine, pervasive, Sand into dancing patterns. Sand slips into everything. Your shoes, your food, even the very folds of your thoughts. An insistent, granular reminder of the desert's pervasive, inescapable nature. You find yourself idly trying to remember what true clean felt like. A sense of purity. A bath, a real one, with luxurious soap that smells of delicate lavender and not the familiar heavy scent of camel sweat and dust. But then again, you muse, would it even feel as utterly satisfying, as truly luxurious, without the persistent grime to provide such a stark, welcome contrast? You pause beneath a small, humble outpost, just a few simple mud brick buildings, baking under the relentless sun. An ancient olive tree that remarkably refuses to die despite the harsh conditions, its gnarled, twisted branches defiantly reaching skyward in a desperate plea for life, and an old man with a single knowing tooth, selling incredibly sweet dates. He offers the dried fruit with the innate dignity of a king presenting a royal decree, his weathered hand extending the simple yet profound gift. You buy 3, eat 1 immediately, savoring its chewy sweetness and robust flavor, and carefully save 2 for later, a small indulgence for the journey. While you rest, your wise guide tells you about the crucial caravanserai. These, he explains, were vital roadside inns, fortress-like structures offering much-needed refuge for weary traders and wanderers like yourself, providing safe, communal places to sleep, to wash away the day's grime, and crucially, to share vital news, tantalizing gossip, and the occasional wildly exaggerated tale of adventure and peril. You'll sleep in one tonight, a welcome and comforting thought after the day's travel. The imposing, comforting walls of the caravanserai rise from the sand like a mirage made solid, a tangible, welcoming beacon in the vast, humbling emptiness of the desert, a promise of shelter. Inside, it smells distinctly of warm cumin and fragrant firewood, of worn blankets that have cradled countless travelers seeking solace, and the comforting aroma of freshly baked bread, a scent of home. You find a quiet, secluded corner, unroll your humble mat, and watch the sky slowly darken through a purposeful gap in the sturdy mud brick wall, a perfectly framed view of the approaching night, filled with stars. That evening, a fellow traveler from distant Kashgar plays a simple, unassuming flute. It's a strange, reedy, thin sound, yet oddly comforting in its simplicity, its melancholic notes weaving a delicate spell in the cool night air. You don't explicitly know the song, but your heart seems to recognize it, vibrating with an ancient, resonant familiarity that transcends language, connecting you to generations of past travelers. The sky this morning is pale like worn parchment, stretched thin and old, and you blink against the soft diffused light that seems to seep mysteriously from the very earth, rather than fall directly from the heavens. You're leaving Merv behind. Now, though, its memory clings to you persistently, like fine dust in your hair, like a lingering whisper on your breath. You consciously try not to look back too much, knowing it's healthier to look forward. But you do. Just once. Just long. Enough to imprint its silent ruins and whispered histories into your mind, a final homage to the mother of the world, before pressing onward. The path today feels older than usual, more profoundly settled into its ancient grooves, worn deep by millennia of passage. You sense it distinctly as you walk, footsteps upon footsteps, generations deep, pressed into the very skin of the Silk Road like countless fingerprints into soft, yielding clay. There are moments where you find yourself convinced you can almost hear them, the faint echoes of past travelers murmuring their intentions, their trades, their triumphs, and their deep regrets, their voices carried on the unseen currents of time. Your ultimate destination lies beyond these shifting sands, a storied place once known universally as Herat. The name itself carries a kind of ancient rhythm, doesn't it? Herat. It rolls off the tongue like a drumbeat swallowed by the wind, powerful yet ephemeral. Once a gleaming jewel of the magnificent Timurid Empire, Herat pulsed with unparalleled artistry and fervent intellectual debate, a true cultural beacon. Its formidable walls once wrapped lovingly around gardens so lush and breathtaking they were said to smell of paradise itself, even in the depths of winter. defying the harsh realities of the surrounding land. You can only hope that the road, with its own mysterious memory, still remembers the way to such a wondrous place, a beacon of beauty and knowledge. But first comes the dreaded stretch that ancient traders used to speak of with fear, what they ominously called the White Wind Path. You initially wonder why such a foreboding name until it truly begins. A sudden relentless sweep of air, so incredibly dry, so piercingly sharp, that even the resilient camels seem to squint their eyes against its onslaught. It seems to bleach everything in its path, stones, sun-bleached bones, even the very thoughts within your mind feel scoured clean by its intensity. A traveler beside you tries desperately to speak, but the wind cruelly steals his words like a swift pickpocket. He shrugs, resigned. You both share a silent, knowing laugh, a shared moment of human vulnerability in the face of nature's power. And then, between intense gusts, your guide tells you about the wind spirits, how some in this ancient land profoundly believed they were the very voices of the dead, restless souls carried by the desert to whisper their secrets into your ears, their wisdom or warnings riding on the breeze. You listen intently, half out of sheer curiosity, half because a deeper part of you doesn't want to miss what these unseen voices might truly be saying, what ancient truths they might impart. Somewhere along the way you find a solitary stone, etched with faint mysterious lines. Ancient script, perhaps Greek, perhaps something even older and more forgotten. No one in the group can read it. The cinnamon merchant suggests it's a passionate love letter. The boy with the apples boldly declares it's a dire warning. You, however, think it looks precisely like a sigh carved in stone, a breath held for millennia. Later, you rest beneath the only shade for what feels like miles, a solitary tamarisk tree, gnarled, stubborn, and defiantly clinging to life in the harsh landscape. You sip your precious water so slowly it feels ceremonial, a profound act of reverence for life. Someone passes around dried apricots, their surfaces wrinkled like ancient parchment, but their taste sweet and vibrant, like captured sunlight trapped in velvet. A scholar riding with you, her dark robes elegantly embroidered with verses from the Sufi mystic Rumi, speaks of a pivotal event that once unfolded not far from here, the devastating siege of Herat. She tells you it lasted for grueling months, and during that harrowing time, the resilient people of the city sang to each other from their rooftops, their voices carrying across the besieged walls, weaving a tapestry of hope to keep their spirits alive. Songs instead of surrender. Can you imagine such steadfast defiance? She asks. You nod, a lump in your throat. You can. Some historians still debate how many songs were truly sung, she adds, almost dreamily, lost in the power of the narrative. Some say it was only a few, perhaps a handful of desperate tunes. Others insist it was hundreds, a constant defiant chorus against despair. You, however, instantly believe the latter. Because hope, you realize, is stubborn like that, an unyielding force that flourishes even in the face of overwhelming adversity. As the day stretches on, the sun climbing higher, you reach a narrow valley flanked by crumbling towers, perhaps ancient watchposts, or the proud remnants of forgotten strongholds, standing sentinel over the centuries. Your camel stumbles briefly on loose rock, catching itself. You steady yourself with a gentle hand against its neck, murmuring something, soft and comforting. Not words exactly, just breath, shaped by an innate kindness, a bond forged on the road. You begin to see clear signs of Herat's pervasive influence long before you physically reach its gates. A mosaic fragment, fallen from a crumbling way station, lies half-buried in the dust, its turquoise and lapis tiles still brilliantly vivid despite the relentless passage of time, a testament to enduring artistry. A shepherd in the distance wears boots stitched with distinct Timurid patterns, a stylistic signature of the empire. Even the solemn call to prayer, drifting across the hills, feels subtly infused with the city's past grandeur, echoing with a rich history. And then, finally, it appears. Herat. Not the idealized one from the grand stories, perhaps. No gleaming gold domes or scholarly figures quoting Hafiz in bustling streets. This Herat is quieter now, folded in on itself like a cherished letter no longer sent, its secrets held close, but the proud bones of its former greatness undeniably remain. By morning, the vibrant rooftops of Herat are no more than cherished memories, folded gently in cloth and tucked securely into your satchel, ready to be carried onward. You travel light again, both physically and spiritually, though the profound heaviness of yesterday's experiences still lingers subtly in your every breath. A silent echo. The mountain air is now crisp, not sharp, like a page turned quietly in a revered book. You feel a profound silence settle into your shoulders, not as a burdensome weight, but as a deep, calming presence. Herat has loosened its powerful hold on you, allowing you to drift onward, tracing the ancient path that now leads you steadily toward the fabled city of Balkh. The locals, with deep reverence, call this ancient city the Mother of Cities. You let that powerful name rest on your tongue for a moment, savoring its sound and significance. It's a name that feels both grand and incredibly tender, like someone calling the boundless sea their mother, or the vast sky their eternal home. Your feet instinctively find their rhythm again on the worn earth. Step, breath, step, a simple yet profound meditation on movement. The sky stretches endlessly above you, like a great seamless silk sheet, too wide to fold, too soft to fear, comforting in its immensity, guiding your way across the open landscape. The road to Balkh doesn't follow a straight line. It meanders, not by mistake, but by ancient memory, tracing paths laid down over millennia. It passes through low, rolling hills where solitary shepherds tell whispered stories to the silent stones, tales as old as the landscape itself. It winds through vast poppy fields so intensely red they make you blink twice, convinced your eyes are playing tricks. In one small dusty village along the way, a boy approaches you and offers a crudely carved flute with only one single working note. "It's enough," he says with quiet conviction. And for reasons you can't quite articulate, you believe him implicitly. Sometimes, simplicity holds profound truth. As you draw steadily closer to Balkh, the very road beneath your feet seems to thicken with the profound residue of history. This was the hallowed ground where the prophet Zoroaster is said to have first spoken his timeless truths, where Alexander the Great once famously lingered, his thoughts too large to carry within one mind, and where countless Buddhist monks whispered reverently over ink-stained scrolls, preserving ancient wisdom. But Balkh is not loud about its illustrious past. It breathes it out slowly, gently, like steam rising from a warm teacup. You catch fleeting pieces of it in passing. A crumbling pillar tucked discreetly behind an apricot orchard, a half-buried marble basin, a woman painting her front door the vibrant color of pomegranates, just as her grandmother did centuries before. Some historians still passionately argue whether Balkh was truly the birthplace of the revered prophet Zoroaster, a point of enduring academic contention. Others claim it was further west, a different place entirely. There is no simple consensus, only lingering shadows and unanswered questions. Your current guide, a man with laughter lines etched as deep as caravan grooves on his sun-weathered face, tells you captivating stories passed down through generations by his wise grandmother. He recounts how Balkh once housed grand libraries where precious books were chained to shelves, not out of distrust for readers, but out of profound devotion. So they wouldn't fly away, he jokes, his eyes twinkling. Knowledge is light, you know, and it gets very windy in Balkh. You pass a bustling courtyard where women are meticulously dyeing silk in vast ceramic pots, their movements practiced and precise. The smell is distinctly earthy, rich with natural pigments, and you're told that the deep blue color comes from meticulously crushed lapis lazuli and the patient passage of time. One woman winks at you, a conspiratorial glint in her eye, and adds, "And a little jealousy." You're not entirely sure if it's the powerful dye or her knowing smile that leaves a deeper, more lasting mark on your memory, but the experience is indelible. In the heart of the city, there are magnificent ruins that somehow don't truly look like ruins. They wear their decay like perfectly well-tailored ancient coats, noble, upright, and utterly dignified. You find a mosque with no roof, only the free-flying birds as its congregants. a towering minaret with no echo, only the wind whispering through its crumbling stones. You walk through them the way you'd walk through a profound dream you desperately don't want to wake from, soaking in every detail. The shrine of Rabia Balki lies nestled intimately behind a quiet almond grove. She was the first woman poet of the Persian language, a trailblazer, and her tragic story is one woven with an enduring, passionate longing. They say she loved a slave and wrote verses with her own blood when forbidden to speak his name. Her words a defiant testament to her love. You place your hand on the cool edge of her tomb, and though the stone is cold, something warm stirs beneath it. Perhaps her words, still breathing. Perhaps your own empathy. A kind gardener, meticulously sweeping petals from the shrine's path, tells you that on some nights, women come to sing her verses softly into the night air, so she doesn't feel alone, he says, his voice gentle, like that's a perfectly reasonable and natural thing to do. And in this sacred space it utterly is. Before you leave, someone offers you a small scroll with only one powerful line. Written on it in elegant script, "Love does not obey borders or blood." You fold it carefully, feeling its profound weight, and you carry it with you the rest of the way, a timeless truth now guiding your journey. It's a simple reminder that the deepest connections transcend all artificial boundaries. The first gentle rays of morning slip quietly through the seams of your blanket like shy fingers, insistently warming your cheeks even before your eyes fully open. You lie perfectly still for a moment longer, listening intently to the world before it fully awakens and begins to speak. A donkey brays loudly in the far distance, its call echoing through the quiet camp. A pot clinks rhythmically. Somewhere nearby, someone is already meticulously making tea with cardamom, and the rich, inviting scent curls softly toward you like a warm, personal invitation to begin the day. You sit up slowly, brushing the last vestiges of sleep from your shoulders like you would dust from a precious garment. The ground beneath you feels remarkably generous, just firm enough to hold you securely, and just soft enough to forgive the imprint of your body. Today, your journey shifts its course, leaning distinctly eastward, toward the legendary Jewel of Empires, the very breath between syllables in 1,000 ancient legends, Samarkand. You've heard it said that cities possess souls, deep and intricate. If that's truly the case, then Samarkand's soul, you realize, must be exquisitely stitched in shimmering gold and profound shadow, a tapestry of light and dark. Your feet, now accustomed to the road, find their familiar rhythm again, your body swaying gently with each step, like a lullaby you half remember from childhood, a comforting, almost unconscious motion that propels you onward. The landscape subtly changes around you, as if not to disturb your contemplative thoughts, turning the page of a new geographical chapter. The grass thins, the earth reveals its ancient bones more clearly, and ahead, the mountains rise like old, watchful gods, silent, sharp and ever-present, guarding the horizon. By midday, you are no longer alone on the vast plains. A new caravan, seemingly appearing from nowhere, catches up to you, traders from distant Kashgar, moving slowly, deliberately, with their magnificent camels so tall they cast their own kind of inherent dignity across the landscape. One of the weathered traders, without a single word, simply offers you a dried fig. It's surprisingly dry, intensely sweet, and filled with tiny crunchy seeds that crack subtly like whispered secrets between your teeth. You nod your profound thanks, and he responds with a warm, knowing smile, his dark beard shimmering with the accumulated dust of countless roads. You travel alongside them for a while, listening to the comforting creak of leather saddles, the rhythmic thump of hooves on the earth, and the quiet, almost meditative hum of a flute someone plays absent-mindedly, its melody weaving through the air. One of the women in the caravan rides gracefully side-saddle, engrossed in reading a scroll, meticulously balanced on her lap, her eyes moving across the ancient script. You discreetly peek at the elegant script, and though you cannot decipher the symbols, you feel a profound sense of understanding, as if you could read it, if only you listened harder with your soul, letting the story unfold through intuition. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky with fiery hues. You crest a gentle hill and then, suddenly, you see it. Samarkand. It doesn't reveal itself all at once in a grand announcement. First, there's just a faint shimmer, a trick of the heat perhaps, or a surge of pure hope. Then, majestic domes begin to rise, impossibly blue, kissed with vibrant turquoise and deep lapis lazuli. Towers lean skyward with an audacious confidence, as if they've never known doubt. The entire city glows like someone has lit it from deep within, radiating an ethereal light. You find yourself forgetting to breathe, utterly mesmerized by the vision before you. Someone riding next to you mutters, under their breath, the city of mirrors. You're not entirely sure if they mean the shimmering glass tiles that adorn its buildings, reflecting the endless sky, or the profound echoes of memories that Samarkand so powerfully holds. Perhaps both. The grand gates of Samarkand open not with triumphant trumpets or grand pronouncements, but with the soft, almost reverent hush of silk being unrolled, an inviting whisper. You slip inside, moving past a young boy selling vibrant saffron in a gleaming silver bowl, past an old man patiently mending shoes with a glimmering golden thread, and past a fat, contented cat napping peacefully on a sun-drenched windowsill, looking as if it owns the entire majestic place. Inside, the city moves like a living painting in motion, every corner holding a hidden secret, every ancient wall holding 1,000 interwoven stories. At the Registan Square, the heart of Samarkand, you tilt your head back until your neck aches, your gaze fixed on the intricate patterns, trying in vain to count the countless tiles in a single majestic arch. There are thousands upon thousands, each painstakingly painted by hand, no two exactly alike, a testament to human dedication. You think about how long it must have taken to create such intricate beauty, the immense patience, the exquisite precision, the profound poetry of repeating a complex pattern and still making it feel utterly new and vibrant. They say Ulugh Beg, the renowned Timurid prince, once stood here, gazing upward, consumed by dreams of the stars. His madrasa, a center of learning, still stands proudly, part observatory, part temple dedicated to numbers and the boundless night skies. He famously built astronomical instruments taller than houses, massive contraptions crafted from stone and bronze, just to precisely track the elusive movement of the planet Saturn. Historians still passionately debate whether Ulugh Beg was a better astronomer, driven by scientific curiosity, or a worse ruler, perhaps too consumed by the heavens. The stars, you muse, seem to have forgiven him either way, welcoming him into their eternal cosmic dance. You slip into a quiet courtyard where students once diligently studied under the shade of ancient fig trees. The branches still reach outward, their leaves rustling gently, though the students are long gone. You sit under one and press your palm to the cool ancient ground. You wonder what knowledge truly feels like if you hold still long enough to absorb it. You wonder what it's like to dedicate your life to building something you'll never live to see fully finished. The melodic call to prayer rises in the distance, soft and haunting as birdsong. You don't speak the sacred words, but you instantly recognize the deep longing, the profound devotion in them. You look around and everyone has paused, mid-sentence, mid-step, mid-cell, their lives temporarily suspended in reverence. Time itself seems to bow briefly in respect, then quietly resumes its inexorable march. Later, a man with ink-stained fingers and wise eyes offers to read your fortune. He dips a twig into dark liquid and draws enigmatic lines on a small piece of cotton. They don't make logical sense to you, but he smiles gently and says, "You are walking toward yourself." You offer him a coin. He refuses. "You already paid," he says simply. "You listened." Morning doesn't arrive loudly here in Samarkand. It tiptoes in, a gentle, hushed arrival. You wake not because of a sudden sound, but because the light has turned to a profound golden hue, stretched thin like warm honey across the floor of your simple lodging. It's the kind of ethereal light that makes everything feel like a precious memory even before the moment fully ends, imbuing it with an instant nostalgia. You take a deep breath, and the air is soft, imbued with the delicate, scent of jasmine and the comforting aroma of freshly baked flatbread. Somewhere nearby, someone is meticulously grinding coffee, the sound like a stone whispering ancient secrets to another stone, a rhythmic and grounding sound. You rise slowly, deliberately, brushing the last vestiges of sleep from your limbs as gently as you would dust from a precious piece of silk. Outside, the magnificent city of Samarkand blinks gently awake around you. A woman sweeps her stoop in perfect rhythmic motions, a quiet dance. A young boy runs barefoot, joyfully chasing a wooden hoop down a cobbled lane, his laughter echoing. You think for a fleeting moment of staying, just for a little while longer, letting yourself become truly lost in the city's charm. But the road calls again, not urgently, not with a demanding voice, but with that familiar, patient hum, a gentle siren song. You can almost hear it softly say, "Ready when you are." You follow the road eastward, leaving behind the magnificent blue domes and delicate minarets moving beyond the last bustling stalls of spice and song. The landscape subtly shifts, as if turning the page of a new chapter in a grand book. Flat lands stretch to the horizon, punctuated by low rolling hills, and you feel the slow, familiar return of the desert wind, a constant companion. You pass a solitary shepherd wrapped in thick wool against the cool air, his flock huddled closely like unspoken thoughts, moving as one. He nods at you without smiling, a silent acknowledgement not merely of your presence, but of your deep persistence on this challenging, ancient path. Today, the road feels markedly quieter. There are fewer travelers now, the grand caravans having dispersed onto various routes. It's mostly just you, the expansive breeze, and the steady rhythmic sound of your own footsteps on the ancient earth. But there's a profound peace in this solitude, a kind of deep fullness found in emptiness, like the inside of a conch shell still echoing softly with the distant murmur of the sea, holding its vastness within. You reach a place that doesn't have a name on any conventional map, a secret known only to those who travel these paths, but locals simply call it the Whispering Dunes. The wind here sings through the shifting sand in long, low, haunting tones, creating an ethereal music. Some say this phenomenon is simply caused by the peculiar shape of the sand grains, an acoustic anomaly. Others insist, with profound conviction, that the dunes themselves remember every single footstep ever taken upon them, and this is their way of speaking those ancient memories back to the wind, a timeless echo. A few skeptical traders believe the sound is merely the sighing of ancient gods, deeply disappointed in the modern bartering skills of travelers. You find yourself unsure which story to entirely believe, so you choose, with a sense of wonder, to believe them all, letting the mystery remain. You pause to rest in the sparse shade of a weathered stone marker. It's deeply cracked and half-buried. In the encroaching sand, etched with an ancient script that even the timeless desert seems to have forgotten, its meaning lost to the ages. You run your fingers gently across its worn surface, feeling the texture of history. There's something profoundly comforting in knowing that not everything must be explicitly understood to be deeply felt, that some truths resonate beyond words. Later you stumble upon a ruined caravanserai, its purpose long abandoned. The roof is long gone, vanished into dust, but the formidable mud brick walls defiantly remain, tall and stoic like ancient soldiers retired from the endless march of time. A single resilient tree grows remarkably from the very center of the crumbling courtyard, its roots thick and twisted, having chosen this improbable life on its own terms, a symbol of enduring life. You sit beneath its meager shade, sipping cool water from your flask, finding solace in its presence. The quiet here is generous, expansive. It gives you ample space to simply be, to breathe, and to remember, inviting introspection. Here, centuries ago, a caravan once sheltered from a ferocious storm. The leader, a formidable woman from Persia, with a voice like thunder, famously bargained not with gold or silver, but with the profound power of poetry, trading verses for peppercorn and philosophy. It's said she fell deeply in love with a brilliant scholar from Bukhara, and that their impassioned intellectual debates kept the entire camp awake for 3 exhilarating nights, their arguments echoing under the desert sky. When they finally, Parted ways, neither had technically won the debate, and both, you realize, were undoubtedly better for the profound intellectual and emotional exchange. Historians still passionately argue whether she actually existed as a single individual or was merely a composite of many daring, intelligent female travelers who grace these roads. But in a place like this, where fact and fable dance so intimately and closely, you begin to care less about what's empirically true and far more about what simply feels real, what resonates with your soul. You move on, guided now not by maps or road signs, but by a deeper, more primal instinct. The wind has subtly shifted direction. That, you've learned, usually means significant change is very near, a new chapter about to unfold. Morning reaches you gently through the hushed rustle of leaves high above, filtered sunlight dancing across your closed eyelids like soft fingers, subtly insisting it's time to awaken. You rouse to the soothing sound of water still talking, quietly to itself in the shallow river, a constant murmur, and your back feels profoundly grateful for the grassy bank beneath you. The fire has gone cold, leaving only a few whispering embers in the ash, ephemeral reminders of the night's warmth. The merchant and his aging father have already gone, their precious porcelain dreams packed away with meticulous care, like fragile hopes carried silently onward. You stretch, slow and languid, like a contented cat unbothered by any sense of urgent purpose, and deliberately set your feet on the trail again, ready for the day's journey. The path ahead grows noticeably steeper with each step, beginning a gradual ascent. The flat land behind you shrinks rapidly with every step upward, giving way to immense boulders blanketed in thick, vibrant moss and crooked trees that seem to lean closer the higher you climb, their ancient branches gnarled and twisted as if whispering secrets that only the thin mountain air can truly understand. This, you realize, is the very edge of the Tian Shan, the majestic bones of the sky, as the local herders respectfully call it. And indeed, it does feel precisely like bones. Giant, ancient vertebrae pressing forcefully up from the very earth, some still heavily snow-crusted even in the warmer months, some jagged and sharp, others surprisingly soft with the delicate carpet of wildflowers. The wind here doesn't merely sweep or whistle with a gentle song. It howls with a raw, primal force. It shoves. It demands to be noticed, to be acknowledged. You wrap your shawl tighter around your shoulders, pulling it close, and press on. Each footstep a profound meditation in sheer persistence, a testament to your own resilience against the mountain's might. The higher you climb into these formidable mountains, the fewer people you encounter, the human presence dwindling to isolated encounters. You meet a lone monk walking in the opposite direction, barefoot surprisingly, and with no pack, his journey seemingly unburdened by worldly possessions. He offers a smile that curves like a gentle crescent moon, and eyes that seem to have cried and laughed at everything life has offered. You ask him if there's a clear path ahead, seeking guidance. "There is," he says, his voice soft. "But only if your feet remember it." He laughs, not at you, but like he has just told a profound joke that no one else could possibly understand in that moment. And then he's gone, silently swallowed by the swirling mountain mist, leaving you to ponder his words. Hours pass, perhaps even days. Time seems to bend and stretch in places like this, losing its conventional meaning. The mountain doesn't care about your human clocks or schedules. It only measures things in the rhythmic cycle of snowfall and thaw in the enduring seasons. You find yourself talking less, even to yourself, your internal monologue quieting. Up here, silence isn't an absence of sound. It's a profound presence. A thick, steady thing that fills your ears until you suddenly realize it's not silence at all. It's the raw, visceral sound of your own breath, your heartbeat, your every determined step echoing off the ancient rock and the boundless sky, a symphony of your own existence. At one point, you come across a breathtaking patch of mountain irises, blooming defiantly out of a seemingly impossible crack in the solid stone, their vibrant blue and violet petals as delicate as lace. You crouch beside them, marveling at their resilience, and think, not for the first time on this journey, how the Silk Road isn't just about silk or exotic spice, or commercial profit. It's fundamentally about life happening in the most unlikely places. It's about beautiful, stubborn things refusing to die where all logic dictates they should, a profound testament to the enduring power of nature and spirit. You make camp that night in a shepherd's abandoned hut, built half into the slope of the mountain, half into pure imagination, a humble refuge. There's a pile of dried wood by the door, as though someone mysteriously expected your arrival. You light a small, comforting fire and pull your blanket tight around your shoulders, feeling its simple warmth. Outside, the vast sky slowly unfolds itself above you, revealing its cosmic grandeur. Stars blink into being one by one, like they're being poured from an unseen celestial jug, a dazzling display of distant worlds. You cook a handful of rice in a blackened utilitarian pot and eat slowly, deliberately, chewing each grain as though it holds a story, a universe of sustenance. There's something deeply meditative about eating alone in the profound quiet of the mountains. No rush, no need to speak, no external demands. Just the simple warmth of the fire, the nourishing food, and the quiet gratitude that this very moment exists, that you are here, present in its raw beauty. And then you remember. This very mountain range once held entire cities in its hidden hollows. Not grand metropolises like Samarkand or Chang'an, but secluded monasteries meticulously carved directly into the sheer cliffs. Entire libraries etched into solid stone, preserving ancient wisdom. Traders and pilgrims alike came here not just to rest from their arduous journeys, but to learn, to study, to debate profound philosophy while wrapped in warm yak wool. To seek unparalleled wisdom from men who hadn't spoken in years, their insights gained through deep silence and contemplation. One such monastery, they say, was cunningly hidden behind a roaring waterfall. You had to know the right chant, the secret words, to part the water like a mystical curtain and gain entrance. Of course, some pragmatic souls say that's just nonsense, that the chant was merely a clever password, a mundane key to a hidden door. But even now, when the fierce wind howls just right, travelers swear they can still hear faint voices reading ancient sutras in languages no longer spoken, carried by the mountain air. You look up at the countless stars and silently ask if they believe in such magic. They seem to wink back, a silent affirmation of mystery. You don't recall the precise moment you began your descent from the vast, wind-swept plateau, only the slow, gradual return of familiar scents and sounds. First came the subtle fragrance of wild thyme, crushed delicately beneath your heel. Then the joyful trickle of a spring tumbling from a moss-covered boulder, its water clear and cold. And finally, the low, persistent murmur of voices. Not real ones, not at first. Just echoes, perhaps, or the powerful memory of countless conversations buried deep within the ancient stones of the landscape, lingering in the air like a faint, unseen breath. The grass grows taller here, lush and vibrant, kissed by the gentle lowland breezes that carry the warmth of fertile lands. The towering mountains you left behind now linger gracefully in the distant horizon, less like an insurmountable wall and more like an old trusted friend, patiently watching your journey from afar. You carry the profound silence of those heights in your chest, carefully folded like a precious note, a reminder of the vast solitude and deep introspection. And then, like a lantern suddenly revealed through a swirling fog, you finally arrive. It's not a city, nothing so vast or overtly proud. This is Dunhuang, the delicate edge where the vibrant oasis meets the sprawling desert, a vital intersection of life and desolation. It's a place where countless pilgrims once painted their fervent prayers onto the rough sandstone walls of caves, leaving them there to dry like ancient parchment, their devotion etched into stone. You don't simply walk into Dunhuang, you are received by it, quietly, respectfully, as though you are stepping into a profound library that has been whispering timeless stories to itself for centuries, its ancient wisdom waiting to be discovered. Young child dashes past you laughing, expertly chasing a wooden wheel with a stick, its humble circular form humming against the ground, spinning so fast it seems to momentarily vanish. an illusion of speed. You hear bursts of joyful laughter, see colorful laundry blooming from lines like bright prayer flags, dancing in the gentle breeze, and catch the alluring scent of fried dough curling delightfully through the narrow alleyways, a simple yet potent aroma of life. You pause near a communal well, where a woman draws water with hands as swift and practiced as songbirds, small, quick, efficient movements honed by repetition. She offers a warm smile but doesn't speak. No one here rushes. The vast, patient desert has, without a doubt, taught them better. In the bustling marketplace, shimmering silks sway gracefully like ghosts from tall wooden poles, catching the sunlight. They shimmer with a kaleidoscope of vibrant dyes, deep indigo, brilliant saffron, and rich pomegranate hues, each color telling its own story. One particular bolt of fabric is so impossibly sheer it flutters delicately, even when you merely whisper a word, as if responding to a breath. A weathered man sees you admiring it and says, with a knowing wink, "That one's for poets." Then he shrugs, adding with a wry smile, "Or fools." You buy it anyway, not because you explicitly need it, but because something about the way it moved, its ethereal quality, profoundly reminded you of snow leopards and quiet monks and the elusive beauty of dreams. Later, drawn by an unseen force, you find yourself at the foot of the magnificent Mogao Caves, a silent testament to devotion. The entrance is humble, almost unassuming, half hidden by shifting sand and deep shadow, an unassuming portal to a hidden world. But within, oh within, murals stretch across the ancient walls like intricate veins, winding through time itself, carrying the lifeblood of forgotten narratives. They tell profound stories you've only ever half heard in the quiet space between waking and sleep. Of flying apsaras, their forms ethereal and graceful. Of compassionate bodhisattvas with eyes gentler than falling rain, and of terrifying demons with teeth like broken pottery, their visages stark and unsettling. Colors, still so incredibly vivid, burn slightly behind your eyes, an intense visual experience. One particular chamber smells distinctly of old, comforting incense and ancient ink, a scent that speaks of countless hours of patient creation. You sit there for a long, contemplative time, letting the silence and the weight of history settle around you. A monk, no older than you, yet possessing a profound stillness that suggests centuries of quiet meditation, offers you a cup of tea brewed from sweet jujube and pressed chrysanthemum. It tastes strangely familiar, like a memory trying desperately to be remembered, a flavor that hints at forgotten moments. He gestures with a graceful hand toward the painted walls. They painted their fears, he says, his voice a soft murmur, so they wouldn't have to carry them burdened in their hearts. That night, you sleep peacefully beneath a carved ceiling where stars were painted meticulously before the sky was even fully mapped by human hands, an ancient celestial guide. You dream vividly of wheels turning, heavy wagon wheels grinding, along ancient roads, delicate spinning prayer wheels whispering petitions into the air, and even the great wheel of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. All of them in your dream are circling back to you, an endless, repeating journey. The next day, unexpectedly, you are given a camel. Yes, a camel. You try not to laugh aloud, but you do. Once, a loud, spontaneous burst of amusement. The massive animal looks at you with a flat, utterly unimpressed gaze, as if it's already thoroughly tired of your human nonsense. The whisper wakes you before the true dawn. You're not entirely sure if it's the soft sigh of the desert wind or your own breath catching in the quiet stillness. But there it is, a pervasive hush that gently tugs at your waking thoughts, like someone turning the delicate pages of your mind before you're fully aware. The sky above the rolling dunes is still a deep veil of velvet indigo, not yet ready for the dazzling gold it will soon wear with the rising sun. Stars still burn fiercely overhead like ancient secrets stubbornly refusing to be forgotten, their light piercing the fading darkness. You rise slowly, your wool blanket clinging gently to your limbs like a second skin, reluctant to release you. Fine sand sifts effortlessly off your shoulders and hair as you move. The camel, now fully awake, regards you with the flat, knowing disapproval of something that has seen far too many humans pretend they have a clear idea of where they're truly going. Still, it kneels without a fuss when you approach, a silent truce sealed between human and beast, a mutual understanding forged in the desert's vastness. You set out before the sun even breaks the horizon, eager to make progress. The morning chill pinches at your fingers, a sharp, invigorating sensation, but it carries the crisp promise of clarity, a fresh start. Your breath comes in small, ephemeral clouds dissolving quickly into the dry, thin air, each exhalation a silent question. And with every deliberate step, you press a new, unspoken query into the ancient earth. Where are you truly going? Why are you still walking this endless path? And then, suddenly, unexpectedly, you find the old fortress. Or rather, it finds you, asserting its imposing presence in the vast landscape. It rises before you like the jagged spine of some colossal ancient beast, half buried in the encroaching sand, its formidable towers broken, its grand gates yawning wide with the weight of immeasurable age. You almost pass it by, momentarily mistaking it for just another wavering mirage, a trick of the heat. But your faithful camel stops abruptly. It stares intently at the ruins, as if remembering something profound from a distant, storied past, a memory only creatures of the desert can hold. Inside, the silence is even deeper than that of the surrounding desert. No birdsong, no gentle breeze stirring. Just the profound, almost spiritual whisper of old, weathered stones, telling their own silent tales. You walk slowly through what once was a bustling courtyard, now open to the sky. The imposing walls are scorched black from a fire long since extinguished, its destructive power now merely a visual memory. A mosaic lies broken beneath your feet, bits of vibrant turquoise and rich carnelian that once depicted fierce battles, fervent prayers, or vital trade routes. Now they are just scattered pieces of color without context, hinting at a lost grandeur. There's a powerful story here, whispered by the very stones. A fierce, almost legendary general once ruled from this very place, so the insistent wind tells you, carrying the tale through time. He was said to have mapped every single dune by heart, to know precisely when even a single grain of rice would fall from a camel's heavily laden sack. Some even claimed he possessed an uncanny ability to hear the subtle rustling of silk from distant caravans a full day away, his senses incredibly attuned to the desert's rhythms. He held this vital pass for 10 brutal winters, an unyielding guardian. He fiercely protected vulnerable merchants from ruthless raiders, sheltered weary monks from sudden, violent storms, and generously offered sweet apples to children whose names he never even asked, a quiet act of kindness. But he vanished, one spring as mysteriously as he appeared. No blood was found, no broken gate, just his helmet, hanging defiantly from the tallest remaining wall, and a single pair of footprints leading purposefully toward the rising sun, into the vast unknown. Historians still passionately debate whether he truly died, defected to another cause, or simply walked into the realm of myth, becoming a legend. Some argue his sudden retreat marked a significant decline in security along that critical branch of the Silk Road, leading to chaos. Others claim his absence, surprisingly, gave rise to new, alternative paths, more dangerous, more hidden, yet ironically rich with new opportunities for exchange. You imagine him now, staring into the sunrise just as you do, profoundly weighing duty against the powerful allure of disappearance. Maybe you don't blame him, understanding the lure of the unknown. You wake again before the sun, though this time, an unusual stillness drapes over everything like a heavy, comforting quilt, muffling even the faintest sounds of the early desert. No distant birdsong, no buzzing insects, not even the familiar, low thrum of a caravan's slow march. Just the soft, rhythmic breath of your camel, curled peacefully beside you like a vast heap of sleepy laundry, its presence a quiet comfort. You rub your eyes, shaking off the last vestiges of sleep. The small fire from last night has long gone cold, its warmth vanished, and the subtle smell of ashes still clings faintly to your clothes, a lingering reminder of comfort. You rise slowly, almost reluctantly, stretching limbs that feel heavier. Today, carrying the quiet weight of the world. The profound silence that surrounds you isn't ominous. It's simply thick, contemplative, like the desert itself is deep in thought, remembering. And in its quiet presence, it seems to want you to remember too, to connect with its ancient past. You break camp with practiced ease, your movements, fluid and efficient, looping ropes, meticulously tying pouches to your camel, brushing fine sand from the folds of your blanket. The camel stands on cue, though with a dramatic snort of theatrical suffering, as if it genuinely expected a full retirement plan by now. You travel eastward, your path curling gracefully along the edge of an ancient, weathered ridge, a natural boundary. The rock here is strikingly different, darker, more fractured, as if the earth itself once cracked open in raw protest and then defiantly decided not to apologize for its scars. The air feels warmer, even in the early hours of dawn, a subtle shift in temperature. You wipe sweat from your brow, contemplating how this might have been a volatile volcanic vein eons ago, and that perhaps your feet now trace a deep scar the earth never quite healed, a testament to its powerful geological history. Then, something undeniably odd catches your eye. Tracks. Not the familiar prints of a passing caravan or the distinctive hoof marks of camels, but wheels. And not modern ones by any means. You dismount from your camel, kneel carefully, and press your fingers gently into the shallow, ancient grooves etched into the hardened dirt. Parallel lines, unmistakable in their clarity. Chariot wheels, perhaps, or the heavy wooden carts with iron-rimmed spindles of ancient traders. Very old, yet miraculously preserved by the dry desert air and shifting sands. And alongside them, something even stranger, more poignant. Small footprints, children's perhaps. You follow, drawn by a quiet, irresistible pull, a silent curiosity. The sun is climbing steadily now, painting the expansive landscape with the rich, warm hues of copper and gold. Your shadow stretches long before you, a silent, unwavering guide who seems to know the way, even if you, the conscious traveler, do not. Then, finally, you find it. A village, or rather what used to be one. Built partly into the cliffs, its structures blending with the natural contours of the rock, and partly along the valley floor, it emerges before you like a powerful memory, reasserting itself, refusing to be forgotten. Stone houses, some completely crumbled to dust, others half standing like stubborn elders, refusing to bow to time's relentless passage. Terraces of dry, meticulously chiseled fields now lie largely, overtaken by wild sage and whispering weeds, their agricultural purpose long lost. You walk slowly through the haunting ruins, and it feels almost like stepping directly through someone else's vivid, forgotten dream, a deep sense of a past life surrounding you. There's a small, remarkably preserved temple near the very center of the village. Its archway is still largely intact, though faded inscriptions, like ancient ivy, curl around the frame, their meaning obscured by centuries of sun and wind. Inside, the air is noticeably cooler, gentler, a palpable shift in atmosphere. You instinctively remove your sandals, stepping reverently over smooth stones worn down by the passage of countless other bare feet, generations of worshippers. There's no idol, no gleaming gold, no fresh offerings, just a powerful wall of faded paintings, their colors muted by time, but their message still clear. And they tell a profound story. Not with words, but through evocative images, rows of figures in flowing silk robes, carrying precious scrolls, leading sturdy oxen, embracing strangers in gestures of welcome, ships with grand square sails, bridges that seem to arc impossibly between clouds, and most strikingly, a child standing on a mountain, holding what appears to be a compass. You blink, trying to process the image. It's not a real compass, of course, just a simple circle depicted in their small, outstretched palm. But something about that image sticks powerfully with you, a symbol of ancient guidance and curiosity. Outside, you find more poignant signs of the village's vibrant, lost life, fragments really scattered like clues. A beautiful ceramic bowl with intricate Persian patterns, a delicate Chinese silk ribbon, still vibrant, tangled in sharp thorns. A child's small toy, meticulously carved from ivory, shaped like a playful monkey. You realize with a surge of understanding that this place, now long forgotten and buried by the sands of time, must have once been a thriving cultural knot, where East and West shook hands daily, where ideas flowed freely, and where stories were traded over bowls of lentil stew. Historians rarely mention places like this, often focusing on grand capitals, epic battles, and the lives of kings. But this humble village, unnamed, buried by time, was the soft, vital skin stretched between the bones of empires. It was where the Silk Road became truly real, not in its grandeur, but in its profound intimacy. It was where families welcomed weary merchants into their homes, fed them generously, eagerly asked for news of the wider world, and gave them directions with exaggerated hand gestures and broken, earnest languages. And then the storm came. Not just wind and sand, but the kind of storm with glinting armor and sharp horns, a human tempest. You find scorch marks on the outer wall, mute evidence of fire, bones in a well, a grim discovery, a collapsed tunnel, likely used as a desperate hiding place, a child's small sandal, alone beneath an overturned cart, a poignant, heart-wrenching remnant. The silence returns then, not just in the vast landscape, but deep inside you, a profound, heavy quiet, the kind of silence that follows memory, a quiet reverence for what was lost. As you continue walking, the sun climbs steadily higher, meticulously draping the desert in a profound golden haze that gently blurs the distant horizon, transforming it into a magnificent watercolor painting slowly left out to dry. The wind, which had been so uncannily still the morning before, now stirs softly, carrying with it faint, elusive scents, a subtle hint of cardamom, the crisp, clean freshness of faraway mountains, and something deeply earthy, like freshly turned soil. Rich with life, you inhale deeply, letting the aromas fill your lungs, and realize these are the lingering perfumes of centuries of traders and travelers who once meticulously threaded this path, each leaving an invisible, aromatic trace on the very air itself, a tapestry of scents woven through time. Your feet crunch rhythmically on a scattering of broken pottery shards and smooth pebbles, tangible fragments of a forgotten world beneath the sun's relentless golden gaze. The narrow trail widens gradually, merging imperceptibly into a worn stone-paved road, its surface remarkably smoother underfoot, though deeply cracked and weathered by the relentless passage of time and the countless footsteps of generations. This is no ordinary, unmarked path. It's a distinct remnant of the main, vital artery of the ancient Silk Road itself. A legendary road that once pulsed like a living vein, carrying life and commerce across the immense vastness of Asia, connecting disparate worlds. You find yourself moving slower now, your steps deliberate, as if instinctively respecting the profound weight of history underfoot, a palpable connection to the past. Every single stone seems to whisper faint stories of magnificent camels carrying precious silk, aromatic spices, and gleaming jade, of shrewd merchants bartering fiercely for gold coins and rare commodities, of intimate whispers shared beneath stars brighter than any city lights you know today, their secrets carried on the desert wind. You almost chuckle softly at the profound thought that those ancient merchants had absolutely no idea their meticulously planned routes would one day be dissected by satellites and GPS systems. Back then, the best, most reliable navigation was simply the immutable stars, the sun, and the keen instinctual wisdom of the desert. And yet, this road was never a mere path for commerce. It was a potent magnet for cultures to collide, to mingle, and to intricately meld. You reach a place where the ancient road elegantly crosses a shallow river, its water glistening like scattered gems in the sunlight. At the banks, you discern ancient carved reliefs, deeply eroded by time but still powerfully telling their tale. They depict strange mythical beasts, half lion, half eagle, standing guard beside robed figures, their forms regal and watchful. These, you realize, are the poignant remnants of the ancient city of Palmyra's far-reaching influence, an oasis where East and West truly met, often clashed, and sometimes beautifully married, in a dance as delicate and intricate as the silk threads themselves, weaving new cultural patterns. Here's a fascinating twist you might not expect. Archaeologists have unearthed inscriptions nearby in multiple diverse languages: ancient Aramaic, classical Greek, and even early forms of Sanskrit, meticulously scratched onto stone tablets and pottery shards. This rich multilingual patchwork strongly suggests that merchants and travelers needed to be accomplished polyglots, or at least highly practiced mimics, gesturing with a flair worthy of silent films, to navigate and survive the complex linguistic labyrinth of the Silk Road. You smile to yourself, imagining a resourceful trader trying desperately to learn these varied tongues on the fly, probably mixing up words and accidentally inviting a lavish feast, when all they genuinely wanted was a simple cup of water, a humorous communication breakdown. Historians still passionately debate how much of this intricate cross-cultural mingling was truly peaceful trade, and how much was, in fact, subtle political power play, empires vying for dominance. Did these countless caravans bring only material goods, or did they also carry powerful ideas, some dangerous, some revolutionary, spreading like wildfire across the land? Some scholars propose that the Silk Road was less a rigid trade route and more a slow-moving multi-century flash mob of profound cultural exchange, a continuous, evolving phenomenon, and you find that thought strangely comforting in its beautiful chaos, a testament to human connection beyond mere transaction. You keep walking, letting the steady rhythm of your steps echo the enduring rhythm of the ages, a living connection to the past. Suddenly, you come across a lone date palm, its fronds swaying lazily against the brilliant blue sky, an unexpected beacon of life. Beneath it lies a small, humble shrine, barely more than a simple stack of sun-bleached stones, adorned with faded ribbons and a scattering of old coins, offerings left by countless hands. Someone long ago must have left offerings here, perhaps fervently asking for safe passage through the treacherous lands, or maybe simply giving heartfelt thanks for a journey finally completed, a silent prayer of gratitude. As you sit quietly, beside the solitary palm, you notice a curious, almost miraculous detail. A small metal trinket, an astrolabe fragment, half buried in the shifting sand, its intricate engravings hinting at complex celestial calculations, a piece of ancient technology. You hold it up to the sun, catching the light, and vividly imagine the countless nights travelers use sophisticated devices like this to guide their way through the vast unknown, navigating solely by the immutable stars when the featureless terrain offered no discernible landmarks, their lives dependent on cosmic guidance. Yet, few realize that some of the greatest scientific knowledge and philosophical ideas traveled these routes, just as surely as luxurious silk and aromatic spices. The astrolabe itself, the concept of algebra, the revolutionary process of paper making, these profound innovations spread from east to west like seeds carried on the wind, transforming societies. The path rolls on beneath your feet like an ancient ribbon, stretching relentlessly toward horizons that seem to shimmer and waver under the intense midday sun. You can almost feel the deep, resonant pulse of the Silk Road beneath the worn stones. The slow, steady heartbeat of ceaseless trade, vibrant culture, and countless whispered dreams, all woven into the very fabric of the earth beneath you. The caravan routes split ahead, diverging like intricate veins branching off to nourish different, distant corners of the vast continent, each promising new adventures. You pause, sensing that this very crossroads has witnessed more stories, more partings and reunions than any single historian could ever hope to chronicle in their lifetime. You consciously choose the middle path, the one less trodden, less defined, allowing your instincts, honed by weeks of travel, to guide you deeper into the profound fold of history. The landscape shifts subtly, gracefully. The soft sandy dunes gradually give way to rugged rocky outcrops, dusted sparsely with hardy shrubs and resilient wildflowers that cling to life in the harsh conditions. Here, in the high desert, the air feels noticeably thinner, cooler, almost as if the land itself is holding its breath in anticipation, waiting patiently for something to unfold. In the shimmering distance, a cluster of tents rises against the stark horizon, their forms indistinct but promising human presence. You approach quietly, your innate curiosity folding around you like a soft, inviting shawl. This, you discern, is a nomadic encampment. Perhaps descendants of the ancient Scythians or the powerful Turkic tribes who once roamed these expansive lands with their magnificent horses and their oral histories, their lives intrinsically tied to the rhythm of the seasons. The comforting scent of burning wood and fresh baking bread drifts tantalizingly towards you, and the bright, unburdened laughter of children rings out, clear and sweet as bells in the quiet air. You are invited into their camp without a single word being exchanged, a silent gesture of acceptance and grace. Hospitality on the Silk Road was sacred, a fundamental ritual woven into the very fabric of daily life as tightly as the intricate threads of silk themselves, an unspoken law among travelers. A steaming bowl of succulent lamb stew is placed before you, its rich, smoky flavors mingling with wild herbs you can't quite name. Their aromas complex and intriguing. You savor each spoonful slowly, deliberately, as if you are tasting the very history simmering in the pot, each bite a connection to generations past. While you eat, the wizened elders begin to tell their stories, their soft voices weaving intricate tapestries of ancient times, tales passed down through countless generations. One particular tale lingers in the air, a story of profound significance. The legend of a great horse said to run faster than the desert wind itself. A divine gift from the gods to a weary traveler who sought safe passage across the vast, unforgiving steppes. This magnificent horse, they say, possessed an uncanny ability to sense danger long before it arrived, its hooves never faltering on the treacherous, ever-shifting terrain. A gentle smile creeps across your face, because here's the fascinating thing. You've heard this very story before, but told with a strikingly different twist, in another distant land and in another distinct language. And this, you realize, is the undeniable magic of the Silk Road. The same profound story, told and retold countless times, shape-shifting subtly as it passes from tongue to tongue, from place to place, adapting to new contexts while retaining its core essence. You ask quietly if the horse was a real creature of flesh and blood or merely a powerful metaphor, and the elder chuckles softly, her eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. Both, she says with quiet conviction. And neither. It's the journey that truly matters, not the beast that carries you. Her words resonate deeply, encapsulating the very spirit of your own odyssey. As night definitively falls, the campfire blazes brightly, casting warm, dancing light on faces weathered by sun and wind, etched with the stories of hard-lived lives. Stars wheel majestically overhead, constellations that are familiar yet refracted through a distinctly different cultural lens, their patterns reimagined. Someone hums a haunting melody, a slow, ancient tune carried down from the distant mountains, imbued with their timeless solitude. You lie back on a tightly woven mat, feeling the desert's pervasive chill creeping in beneath your cloak, a gentle reminder of the wilderness. The wind rises again, not harsh or biting, but tender, almost as if it's gently rocking the world itself to sleep. A vast, comforting lullaby. Somewhere nearby, a wolf howls softly, its lonely cry echoing across the expanse, and you imagine it as a guardian spirit, watching faithfully over these ancient trade routes long after the merchants have finally gone home. You find yourself reflecting deeply on the caravans, their incredibly fragile balance of immense risk and potential reward. A single misstep, a moment of inattention, could mean encountering ruthless bandits, being swallowed by violent sandstorms, or succumbing to debilitating sickness, each a formidable threat. Yet the irresistible lure of the unknown, the powerful promise of connection with distant lands and exotic cultures, pulled countless courageous souls onto these paths, time after time, generation after generation. Here's a little-known fact. Some merchants didn't just travel with mundane silk or valuable spices. They also carried sacred texts and revered relics. Buddhist scriptures, ancient Christian manuscripts, Zoroastrian fire tablets. These precious Artifacts were transported with profound reverence across vast deserts and towering mountains, not merely as cargo, but as spiritual treasures. The Silk Road, you realize, was as much a vital pilgrimage route as it was a crucial commercial highway. Historians argue endlessly, with passionate debates, over which religion or culture had the greatest, most lasting impact on the Silk Road's complex evolution, often seeking a singular dominant force. But you realize that it was never truly about dominance or singular influence. It was rather about harmony and motion, a dynamic symphony of diverse voices blending and diverging like the wind itself, each contributing to a rich, complex melody. It was a continuous dance of exchange, adaptation, and peaceful coexistence that shaped the world. You close your eyes, feeling the gentle pulse of the camp's vibrant life slowly diminish. Your breath sinking effortlessly with the hypnotic flicker of the fire, a peaceful rhythm taking hold. The night deepens around you, full of whispered secrets and soft, unspoken promises. And you, a solitary traveler on this seemingly endless path, are now inextricably a part of it, a fleeting whisper in the timeless winds of the Silk Road, your journey adding another layer to its ancient, ongoing narrative. The morning light seeps gently through the thin fabric of your tent, meticulously painting everything with a soft golden hue, as if the desert itself is reluctant to fully wake, lingering in a dreamlike state. You rise slowly, feeling the last warmth of the night's dying embers fading beneath your fingertips, a subtle memory of comfort, and step outside into a world already subtly stirring, awakening with its own quiet rhythm. The wind carries a faint, invigorating chill, beautifully mingled with the comforting scent of wild sage and the distant, crisp aroma of cedar forests. A poignant reminder that even in these vast, arid lands, nature keeps her profound secrets close, guarding them fiercely, revealing them only to the patient observer. As you resume your journey, the ancient caravan trail takes on a new, more intimate rhythm, winding gracefully along narrow passes where towering cliffs rise like silent, ancient sentinels, watching over centuries of passage. The shadows here grow long and deep, providing cool shelter for both elusive creatures and countless untold stories alike. You catch a fleeting sight of wild ibex, their agile forms deftly leaping across rocky ledges with an astonishing ease, their movements precise, almost choreographed. Nature's own graceful dancers performing on a majestic stage of raw stone, a breathtaking display of wilderness survival. You wonder how many weary travelers before you ever paused in their arduous journeys to simply watch such a natural spectacle, or if their eyes were too intensely fixed on the demanding imperatives of survival and profitable trade, missing the subtle beauty that surrounded them. It's often forgotten that the Silk Road was far more than just a conduit for goods and gold. It was, fundamentally, a challenging yet profoundly beautiful passage through some of the most breathtaking landscapes on Earth, each vista a new chapter in the journey. And speaking of breathtaking, did you know that some of the oldest known petroglyphs, intricate carvings expertly etched into rocks, line significant parts of these very routes? These ancient artworks depict not only familiar animals and determined hunters, but also mysterious celestial bodies and complex abstract symbols whose meanings have long been lost to the sands of time. It's a truly fascinating puzzle, one that continues to fuel intense scholarly debates, sparking endless theories. Were these powerful messages, solemn warnings, or fervent prayers, or simply the spontaneous doodles of early bored travelers left behind to amuse future wanderers? Historians remain profoundly divided on their true purpose. As the sun climbs higher, intensifying its golden embrace, you find yourself approaching the evocative ruins of an ancient caravanserai, one of those vital stone inns scattered like precious pearls along the trade routes, each offering weary merchants and their animals much-needed shelter and invaluable respite from the unforgiving journey. The walls, though now crumbled in many places, still stand proudly and defiantly against the relentless, erosive desert winds, testaments to their former strength. You vividly imagine the bustling chaos of life here centuries ago. Camels being laboriously unloaded, exotic spices being bartered fiercely, laughter, and a cacophony of voices mingling in dozens of disparate languages, all beneath the flickering, inviting lanterns of evening. A symphony of commerce and life. One curious detail often overlooked, yet profoundly telling. Many caravanserais included not only essential stables for animals and comfortable lodging for humans, but also communal baths. These early rest stops understood the vital importance of cleansing after long, dusty days of arduous travel, a touch of unexpected luxury and shared humanity in the harsh, unforgiving desert. Imagine, after weeks on the road, soaking your aching body in warm water scented with fragrant herbs, an oasis of genuine comfort that feels almost futuristic in its thoughtfulness compared to the raw sand and burning sun. It offered not just physical relief but psychological rejuvenation. But of course, the Silk Road was not always kind or forgiving. Ruthless bandits frequently lurked in shadowed passes ready to ambush, and sudden political upheavals could transform friendly lands into hostile territory overnight, turning safe passage into mortal peril. You probably wouldn't want to walk this entire route solo unless you possess the resilience of a camel and the agility of a ninja, a truly formidable combination. It's widely said that some wealthy merchants traveled with formidable bodyguards, expertly trained in archery and swordplay, while others relied purely on blistering speed, absolute secrecy, or sheer, unadulterated luck to survive the dangers. There's a lesser-known, intriguing episode where a caravan, heavily laden with precious silk, was ambushed not by traditional bandits, but by a group of powerful desert nomads who, instead of stealing the goods outright, surprisingly requested a generous share of the bounty as tribute. The shrewd merchants, recognizing the nomads' absolute control over the vital water sources in the region, wisely agreed, thus forging a fragile yet enduring alliance that remarkably ensured safe passage for years to come. It's a powerful reminder that on the Silk Road, diplomacy was often as valuable as any tangible treasure. You press onward, your footsteps echoing softly on the ancient stone path, feeling the palpable pulse of countless past journeys threading through you, connecting you to the myriad lives that came before. The landscape slowly begins to soften as you descend into a lush, fertile valley, gently cradled by distant, majestic mountains, their peaks guardians of the horizon. Here, rivers flow with a steady, soothing murmur, their waters life-giving, and orchards heavy with ripe apricots and ruby-red pomegranates offer a sweet, fragrant reprieve from the arid vastness you've just traversed, a welcome change of scenery. The valley is home to a venerable town that once thrived as a vibrant nexus of trade and diverse culture. You wander among its evocative ruins, tracing the faded outlines of bustling bazaars, ornate temples, and industrious workshops where skilled artisans once crafted exquisite pottery, delicate glassware, and rich, intricate textiles. It's truly humbling to consider that merchants from distant Rome, powerful Persia, mystical India, and ancient China once exchanged not only valuable goods but also profound stories and melodious songs in these very streets, their voices echoing through time. An intriguing fact: some of the first paper money in human history is widely believed to have emerged right here, a revolutionary concept born from the pressing need to facilitate increasingly complex trade across vast, challenging distances. Imagine explaining that audacious idea to a merchant used to the tangible weight of counting coins. No, really, trust me. This simple piece of paper is worth its weight in gold. It must have felt like pure magic or utter madness to them. The Silk Road, with all its inherent wonder and perilous dangers, was a magnificent tapestry intricately woven from threads of innovation, immense courage, and deep human connection. And as you watch the sun dip low, painting the valley in breathtaking hues of rose and amber, you realize that you are not just a traveler retracing ancient footsteps. You are an active part of a story that still whispers on the winds, waiting patiently to be heard, to be carried forward. The valley gradually fades behind you as you faithfully follow the winding river northward, its gentle rhythmic murmur a soft, constant companion to your deep thoughts, providing a soothing backdrop. The air here is noticeably cooler, exquisitely scented with the sharp, invigorating fragrance of pine, and the crisp promise of approaching mountains, their grandeur looming. You step lightly and carefully over mossy stones and vibrant patches of wild flowers, feeling as if the landscape itself is breathing in unison with you, alive, utterly timeless, and patiently waiting to reveal its next secret. You find yourself instinctively drawn towards a small, charming village nestled intimately at the very foot of the majestic peaks. It's remarkably quiet now, a serene hush, but you can almost vividly hear the echoes of ancient festivals where countless traders and friendly locals mingled freely, exchanging far more than just mere wares. They traded ideas, shared laughter, and created beautiful music, forging bonds that transcended language. The Silk Road was never merely a thread of commerce. It was, fundamentally, a vibrant loom for cultural weaving, intertwining diverse traditions and beliefs into a rich tapestry of human experience. One of the most remarkable stories emanating from this region involves the profound exchange of musical instruments, a testament to the universal language of sound. It is widely said that the lute, an instrument that later inspired countless variations and derivatives in the distant West, journeyed along these very routes from the mystical East, its melodies carrying across vast distances. The haunting melodies, hummed by weary merchants on quiet evenings in their desert tents, simple tunes born of longing and solitude, became the fertile seeds for grand symphonies and intricate songs sung centuries later in faraway European courts, a direct lineage of musical inspiration. Think about that. A humble tune hummed under a vast, starry sky here, inspiring a majestic symphony thousands of miles away, a beautiful ripple effect through time and space. And here's a fun, quirky tidbit. Some resourceful travelers, seeking solace or entertainment, would carry small portable musical instruments to soothe their frayed nerves during long, arduous journeys. Perhaps a simple reed flute or a basic drum. Can you possibly imagine, after days of relentlessly trudging through thick dust and scorching heat, breaking into an impromptu jam session around a flickering campfire? It was probably less of a grand festival and more of a desperate, weary plea to keep awake and lift spirits. Historians are still actively debating whether these mini-concerts were genuinely spontaneous bursts of creativity or carefully orchestrated moments designed to foster camaraderie and alleviate the intense boredom of the road. Your path now climbs steadily, relentlessly, leading you upward through meticulously terraced fields where resilient farmers patiently cultivate hardy grains and nourishing fruits. Their growth shaped by centuries of patient, dedicated hands, an enduring testament to human perseverance. You pause for a moment to watch a woman gently, expertly weaving a basket, her nimble fingers moving with practiced grace and artistry, each movement a testament to her skill. She tells you stories about the essential crops that once fed the endless caravans: hardy wheat, robust barley, and a curious, versatile grain called millet that ancient travelers highly prized for its incredibly long shelf life, a crucial food source. This humble millet, you realize, was the very lifeblood of the Silk Road, sustaining countless lives through the harshest, most grueling journeys, allowing humanity to conquer vast distances. And while millet may sound mundane and unremarkable to modern ears, here's a truly surprising fact. Recent archaeological digs have unearthed significant quantities of millet seeds in ancient burial sites dating back thousands of years along the trade routes, strongly suggesting it was not only a staple food, but also held profound ceremonial significance, a spiritual connection. How's that for a seemingly simple grain with a rich, hidden past, its secrets slowly revealing themselves? Scholars continue to puzzle over what that might truly mean about the cultures that prized it so highly, hinting at deeper rituals and beliefs. The majestic mountains stretch around you, towering and silent witnesses to the passage of countless feet and hooves, each leaving an ephemeral mark on the ancient earth. You stop by a shaded, cool spring, dipping your hands into the incredibly refreshing water, and catch a fleeting glimpse of your reflection, worn but steady, unwavering, a mirror to the profound journey etched deeply into your very soul, a visual testament to your transformation. You're powerfully reminded that the Silk Road was not merely a path for the physically strong or the financially wealthy. It was, above all, for those courageous souls willing to brave immense uncertainty, to earnestly connect with the unknown, and to place their fundamental trust in the inherent kindness of strangers, the universal bond of humanity. The myriad stories you've diligently gathered, the wondrous legends of horses faster than the wind, of welcoming caravanserais with luxurious warm baths, of sacred texts traveling hand in hand with precious silk, all seamlessly stitched together, a rich, vibrant tapestry far more valuable than any treasure chest could ever hold. Now, with night falling softly once again, painting the sky with deepening hues, you settle peacefully beneath a sky magnificently dusted with countless stars, each a distant, burning world. The gentle wind whispers through the towering pines like a soothing lullaby, urging you to finally rest, to dream of distant lands and ancient roads, of journeys yet to be taken, and of the countless stories that still await discovery. The night stretches its velvet cloak above you, vast and boundless, an infinite expanse where the very concept of limits dissolves into ethereal beauty. The stars, those eternal silent travelers themselves, blink softly, almost knowingly through the profound inky darkness, resembling countless distant campfires scattered along an endless cosmic road. Each tiny pinpoint of light seems to hold millennia of unspoken stories, of journeys undertaken and completed, of quiet moments of reflection under similar vast skies across countless ages. You feel the quiet, comforting weight of the ages settle. Around you, a gentle, palpable hush that not only invites deep, introspective reflection, but also offers much-needed rest after your long, arduous odyssey. Here, nestled in this sacred, profound stillness, the challenging, transformative journey of the ancient Silk Road comes to its quiet, graceful close, not with a dramatic, grand flourish or a final, triumphant gesture, but as a slow, peaceful exhale, a lingering, almost wistful sigh that reverberates long after the myriad footsteps of countless travelers, merchants, and adventurers have finally faded into the silent dust of history. The air itself seems to hum with the echoes of their passage, a symphony of forgotten whispers. You recall, with vivid, almost startling clarity, the vibrant chorus of diverse voices carried on the ever-present wind, the boisterous laughter of tireless merchants haggling over precious goods, the rhythmic, hypnotic clatter of camel bells marking the relentless passage of caravans, the solemn, heartfelt prayers whispered in myriad exotic tongues by pilgrims seeking enlightenment or solace. Each distinct sound is a unique, irreplaceable thread woven intricately and meticulously into the vast, shimmering tapestry of human connection, a harmonious, enduring symphony of cultures and beliefs intertwined. It's a powerful, enduring reminder that even within the immense vastness and often brutal sweep of history, it is the shared moments, the small, seemingly insignificant acts of kindness exchanged on a dusty trail, and profound, unexpected courage shown in adversity, the simple gestures of humanity offered freely between strangers that truly endure, echoing with quiet resilience through the centuries. These are the invisible treasures, the true legacy that the Silk Road truly carried. As your thoughts drift gently, unburdened and free, like the fine, shifting desert sands under a luminous, silvery moonlit sky, you become acutely aware of the subtle yet profound changes in the world around you, a quiet, almost magical transformation. The air grows noticeably cooler, softer, almost tender against your skin, as if gently inviting you to fully surrender to the profound, enveloping quiet that now embraces you, to release the day's lingering burdens and the anxieties of the journey. You feel the gentle, rhythmic pulse of the ancient earth beneath you, steady and sure, a comforting, grounding rhythm that will undoubtedly guide you safely and securely into the realm of dreams, a deep, fundamental connection to the enduring, timeless planet itself, a vast living entity that has witnessed countless journeys just like yours. This silence is not empty, but filled with the silent stories of millennia. And in this final, contemplative, and deeply personal chapter, there is a tender, almost palpable peace that settles upon you, a profound warmth that lovingly wraps around your heart like a well-worn, familiar cloak, providing deep solace and boundless comfort. The Silk Road, you understand now, was not only a vital, bustling conduit of luxurious silk, gleaming gold, and aromatic spices, a testament to human enterprise, but far more profoundly, a spiritual pathway for the indomitable human spirit, eternally curious about the unknown, incredibly resilient in the face of daunting challenges, and endlessly seeking connection, understanding, and new horizons beyond the familiar. The soft whispers of those ancient winds carry a timeless lullaby, a hauntingly beautiful melody that has traveled through countless centuries, weaving through generations of travelers, specifically to cradle you now, offering profound comfort and a deep, restorative peace. It is the song of the journey's end and of infinite possibility. You might picture, with a sense of poignant, bittersweet nostalgia, the very last caravan setting out at dawn, its silhouetted forms gradually fading into the vast, distant horizon, their shapes slowly transforming from tangible physical presences into ephemeral stories, and those stories in turn becoming cherished memories, forever imprinted not just on the landscape, but on the very fabric of human experience. The relentless, ever-shifting sands will eventually cover their tracks, erasing the physical evidence of their passage, but the powerful, resonant echoes of their countless journeys will remain, soft and persistent, like a profound secret shared. In the hush of twilight, destined to linger in the collective consciousness, it's a powerful reminder that while individual lives are fleeting, the human spirit's quest for connection and discovery endures. Now, as your eyelids grow heavy and the night deepens its quiet, enveloping embrace, let the enchanting, timeless melody of those distant journeys soothe your weary soul, drawing you gently, effortlessly, into a deeper, more profound state of relaxation. Feel the profound warmth of the stories you've gathered, the experiences you've lived, wrap around you like a gentle, comforting embrace that slowly dims the sharp edges of waking thought, allowing you to slip peacefully and effortlessly into a deep, restorative slumber. The world around you slows its frenetic pace. Your breath steadies into a calm, tranquil rhythm, and the vast, starry silence above sings a quiet, ethereal song of ultimate rest, a cosmic lullaby composed just for you as the journey finally concludes in dreams. End of script. Sweet dreams.